Hey guys, welcome to another episode of This is 30.
Yes.
I must say this episode is brought to you by Shuli Rapatanza.
I finally
Proudly.
got my
She has got her episode. Because today's episode is 30 and single.
Yes. And joining us, we've got two beautiful single girls. Nasiphi and Joan. Thank you so much, guys, for coming through, your time. And also, I mean, this is not one of those topics that you just talk about. It can be very sensitive and whatever. So thank you for being willing to just come and chat about being single in your 30s. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with a quick fire. Just two. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're also going to answer.
Okay.
How old were you when you had your first boyfriend?
Wow. Okay, so I was a late bloomer. So it was definitely after high school. It was actually first year of university.
So like 17, 18?
For
Yeah,
me,
18. Yeah, for me it was 18, 19, somewhere there.
Yeah. And how do you mind me? How long were the relationships?
What? How long
yeah.
was that relationship? It was long, actually. Very on and off.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was long.
And you?
I'm like Nasiphi, a very late bloomer. I had my first boyfriend, like official boyfriend, guys. You know those ones for creche?
That doesn't count.
Even the high school ones are
Even the high school ones, yeah. Also because I went to a very conservative
wasn't
high
a-
school. So, I mean, I feel like that doesn't count. But so my first serious relationship was after high school. Actually, yeah, the year after high school. I took a gap year. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You took a gap year.
So it was in your gap year. So it wasn't in university.
No. But, well, it went for the
yeah.
longest time. And yeah.
And you?
Grade 6. It was a serious relationship.
Hectic.
Grade 6, grade 7, went into high school. It was very serious, and my parents knew about it. We actually won couple of the year.
Wow.
We were in love, for sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How
then
long
we-
were you together?
I think getting into high school and we just changed. We became different people, and that's why. But I'm actually
grew
serious.
apart.
With you. Yeah, grew apart.
Was the heartbeat serious or you like?
It was serious. My first love.
Wow.
Shout
Do you
out
still
to
remember
him.
him?
Yep.
Are you guys still in contact?
No. There's no need for that.
You just remember.
I just remember. Yeah.
Oddly enough, my first formal boyfriend was also, I was on a mission trip at the end of matric and I met him there and he was going into third year. And then, yeah, it lasted until like April. Man, I did not care about boys because like he'd always be like, I want to get married because he had just converted to Christianity. And it's like, I want to get married, I want to be, I've just gone celibate, but I can see what's going to happen here. Yeah, literally like, I think you need to do what you need to do. And then later that year, he married another girl that he met on the mission trip.
Later
Oh,
that
wow.
year.
So he was
Later
really
that year.
Married
He
as
was.
well.
That's his, and they're still married and they have 2 kids.
Wow.
So if you're out there, I'm
Tina.
very happy for you, actually. I'm glad you got what you wanted.
But
Yeah.
like same mission trip that you were on.
We all met each other on that trip. And she was like 2 years older than him. Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, but I'm glad it worked out for him. Now I wasn't serious. I'm so yeah.
Are you serious now?
Now I'm very serious.
I was about to say you were like out of high school, so you were too young. How could you have been thinking about marriage?
Yeah. And how old was he to be thinking
He was
about
21.
Oh,
No, but he
that's
was
like-
very serious about like the no sex before marriage thing. And he was like, I'm not doing it. I'm
So
done.
that's actually what he probably wanted.
what he did
The
say.
thing that comes after marriage.
But I appreciated his honesty.
Yeah.
I appreciated his honesty.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. Next question. Do you have one?
I have many questions, but
Shoot.
I'm just going to ask, like, Joan, so how long have you been single? Like, you identify as a single person, right? How long has it been?
5 years. Because the person that I dated in 2020 was 2 months. I don't even count that as a relationship. So let's say I've been single for 5 years.
So in these 5 years, any on and offs, any dates, or is it just...
No, there's oh, imagine if there were no dates for 5 years. So now I've been going on dates. I've been meeting people, but nobody that I would want to settle down with.
Okay. Okay. And you, Nasiphi?
So I've been single, like, officially single, for about, let's say 2.5 years or something like that. Yeah. And the reason I'm saying officially single is because there's being single, and then there's what we call situationships.
Yes.
Which I don't consider relationships, right? But they can consume so much of your time that you forget sometimes that you're single.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
So
And dangerous.
Like years go
very
by.
dangerous.
While you're in a number of
Very, very
situationships,
dangerous.
and then at the end of it all,
Now
you're
you're
like, but
45 and
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
feel 45.
Sorry, how old are you?
then you're on the wrong podcast. guys.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And you, Tina, how long have
Pass.
you? Pass.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. She doesn't want to answer. Maybe there's something in the
there's some,
pipeline and she doesn't
She's
want
not
to
single.
single, yes. Okay. No, that's fine.
I am single, but I'll pass on the question.
Okay. Fair
Okay.
enough.
So fine. 5 years, 2 years, 2.5 years.
Let's say 2 years.
2 years, right. Like, what's the hardest part about it? Like, there are people who can, like, we were just speaking earlier about people who have met people on Tinder or on Bumble, and a few months later they are married and happy. You've had situationships, you've had dates. What is it that is missing? Like, you like, what are the men doing that are making you just not
What are the men
About-
not doing?
Yeah.
What are the men not doing? Right?
not doing? Yeah, what's the problem? Because I
Okay,
definitely
I'll
think
go
it's
first.
the men, not you guys.
I think it's intentionality more than anything.
Definitely.
And I think that's exactly, why we find ourselves sometimes in situationships is because the difference between a situationship and a relationship is the intention. It's okay. Sometimes it even poses itself like a relationship, but if there's no intention, and intention is what, propels it forward,
Yes.
and makes it something that can last and, can mean something. So for me personally, that's what I feel that men are so afraid of, like commitment, intention, and everything that comes with, a relationship, really.
And you're able to pick this up from when you meet a person.
Absolutely. Whether you decide to go on or not, that's on you.
on you.
That's on you.
Yeah.
But you know it. Like, that's another thing about men. I think men are so they don't beat about the bush about it. Like, you already know. Like,
Yeah,
hence
yeah.
other people can date for a month, 3 months, and they already, the
Yeah.
intentions are clear, because when they are intentional, you
know.
know. But when they're not, yeah.
I must say, even like I said in a previous episode, now that I'm 30, I feel like I know certain things.
Yeah.
Whatever happens in those first 90 days, and sometimes it doesn't even get to 90
Exactly.
days. That's how the relationship is gonna
Absolutely.
be. Whatever you
It's the
see,
tone.
yeah, that sets the whole
Paints
tone. No matter how long it
Exactly.
goes,
Absolutely.
But are those first 90 days not like honeymoon phase?
But
vibe?
even there are moments where things will slip up. So it will be like the honeymoon thing, but you shady on this thing.
Yes,
Trust me, that thing is coming back for you.
Okay.
And I think
you
especially-
pick them up.
okay, sorry,
You
no,
do
you
see
go
it.
for it.
Subtle.
Subtleties. But you'll be like, no, but let's just see where it goes. That it's going. Yeah.
I would say, like, I'll never let you show me twice that you don't care about me.
Sure.
I don't have that kind of patience. Okay, fine. Maybe I'll give you one chance. But if you do it again, I'm like, no, this is a habit. I'll give you guys an example. There's this guy. He's just even a friend. We're just friends. But I asked him, and maybe you guys can tell me if I'm being petty.
Too much.
Maybe that's why I'm sitting here.
Dear
But
Reddit.
guys, imagine this. If I tell you, even as a friend, Shumi, right? Because remember, we're just friends. If I tell you, Shumi, like, oh my gosh, I love mangoes. And you tell me, okay, back home in the village, you have mangoes in your backyard, right? And now, okay, here we're in the city, we can't really get access to mangoes. But now you're going back home. And I'm like, oh, please bring me back mangoes. You know that I love mangoes. All you have to do is just pick those mangoes from your tree. You come back and you keep quiet. I'm like, did you bring me those mangoes? And you're like, oh no, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Did you cut him off?
I cut him off. No, I'm like, no, but what?
You must
if
really
I
like
would
mangoes.
do something for If
It can be mangoes today, it will be something else
be
tomorrow.
something- No,
But
you're
I
forgetting
understand what you mean. I joke, but I understand what you mean. I mean, it's
Like
something
there's no
so
sacrifice.
small.
Exactly.
So
It
So
needed
small. You didn't
no
even need to
effort.
spend money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was right there.
Yeah, no,
I get you. No,
I get
you-
You're not being petty. I
You know,
get
you're
it.
not being petty at all.
Thank you. You wanted to say something?
No, it's fine. We
forgot
can get back to
Okay.
it.
So, because you're asking why are we still, or why is it hard?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
You know what I also think? I feel like some people that are married settled.
That's
and
where
the
I was
people
going next with this. With
So
this.
us that are still single, I feel like we're like, yo, I'm not settling because I have to deal with this for the next 60 years. Do I want to deal with a person who doesn't want to bring me mangoes? No. But maybe someone else will be like, no, that's okay because I really want to get married. So let me just settle for this person.
Yeah. So on that very topic of settling, as we grow older, now we're in our 30s, there must be things that you look at in people and say, you know what, when I was younger, that was a big no. But now that I'm older, yeah, I can think about it. If does he have kids? I can think about it. Is he divorced? Yeah, maybe. But you know, when we were all young, when we were all teenagers, we were like, I would never, I would
That's a
never.
good point.
Are there things like that for you guys that that you'd settle, or what's the term?
Settle.
Yeah, accept.
Is it settle or
You'd let
what
maybe let slide. Yeah.
Yeah,
You let them slide now. Yeah.
Are they?
So for me personally, as I think that's the thought I had in mind, which I had forgotten now, is that with the whole thing of, within the 90 days, right? So I'm going to answer it in two ways. Because now I'm in my 30s, I do only need 90 days to figure it out. Whereas in the past, because maybe I didn't know myself, because I didn't have more experience, so I needed more than 90 days. It
And
could
because
be.
you had time. When you were
I
20,
had
you could date for 5 years.
Do you know what I
then,
mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So on the other side, when you're in your 30s, you figure it out quicker and it's easy for you to move on, you know? So that's the other end of it. Yes.
Yeah,
but
the stuff is
God,
there. Yeah.
You know? And then on the settling side, which for me personally, I wouldn't call it settling, is that your priorities do change.
Yeah.
And they change because now you're also like, I know I was like, I have a child, right? Out of wedlock, obviously. And so, yeah. So before I had a child, I was dead set on, I will not be with someone who's got a child. And I also want to have kids within, wedlock. Yeah. And when I had a child, obviously I was a bit, distraught because now I have
My
to...
dream is crushed.
Right? And even before my dreams were crushed, I was no longer maybe someone else's dream anymore. Now I was like suddenly not the... Because obviously you can't expect something of someone if you are not it, So at first I was like traumatized. Oh my gosh, now I'm a person with... Because I knew very early in the relationship that I'm not going to marry the person. So it was like that traumatizing. And then I still wanted someone without a child because I was like, okay, hopefully I can still, I've got a child. But I mean, it lessens the complexity of a blended family if I'm the only one bringing a child. But I tell you now, today, as I sit here, I prefer a person with a child because I've realized that when a person doesn't have a child, they're not as accommodating to someone with a child.
They'll be like, let's go out at 9 p.m.
And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And
I'm so sorry, my friend.
so it's amazing. And I don't really consider that settling. Yeah. It's just that now I'm more mature. I've got the life experience of dating someone without a child, and I saw how that did not work. And then I dated someone with a child, and that worked differently and better for me. But of course, I still have the thing of at least have one child. Please don't bring a whole
2, 3.
But like that's just one example. But I do believe that I don't want to call it settling, really. You know,
Guys, let's not sugarcoat it. It's settling. And you married people have done that.
It's true.
It is true.
From the I'm married, and like I wouldn't say that I settled, but there are things that
you've overlooked.
that I said, it's fine because maybe this is more than this, and okay, so a person shines more in this, and that's fine, and you know. So I wouldn't say that I settled, but there are compromises.
Compromises. That's the other word
I was looking for.
Yes.
Compromises.
Okay,
There are
cool.
compromises, and I think we all build pictures of the ideal person in our heads, even in our 30s, and then somebody will come along that is 80% that. Are you going to say no because it doesn't have the 20?
And also considering that you're also not probably 100%.
Yes,
So
probably 35%.
you know what I mean?
You've got, yeah.
So if I get an 80 man.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So yeah, for me, that's what I mean by like compromising. Are they things that you're willing to just compromise on, or he must be rich? He must be having. I have a friend who says she's not going to date a person that doesn't have a car, and she's met the nicest guys, and they have not.
Why is she not here? She should be here telling us this story.
Right? But yeah, so Joan, compromises, are there any things that you would compromise on or won't
I'd
compromise
compromise on kids.
on? Okay.
Oh, kid. I think. I think
I know, right?
Actually, because I love kids. If he has 2 kids with the same person, actually, I wouldn't mind. You know what? I wouldn't mind a lot of things. If I heard God saying, "This is the person for you," and he's even broke, I wouldn't mind. So honestly, if I
I'm
heard
so glad
God
this is
clearly
going
say,
to be on the www
I don't
because
mind,
I
guys.
can play it back to you.
It's like a 2 minute, 12 minutes, 5 seconds you said.
You said even if he's broke.
You're not broke.
Not broke,
on the
broke,
come
but
up.
just broke.
You know what I think about kids?
Yeah.
Kids are also like a way of determining character.
Okay.
So when someone has kids, you can also already tell what kind of a person they are. Because especially with men, because, you know, there aren't a lot of, you know, good examples of, you know, good fathers. So not even for your own kids with him, but just him as a person. You know, kids teach you patience. They teach you, you know, hard work. You need to, you know, man up and provide. Even if you're not rich, but when you have a kid, you have more of a sense of, or you can just be a deadbeat and not care. So when they have kids, you can kind of tell what kind of person they are.
But there's this scary thing that I've been seeing, and it's a thing I've been seeing since I was a kid, where people are brilliant fathers but terrible
I
partners.
was about to say, because I
Like,
know that
that is the
firsthand.
best, like world-class citizen father, but
Bad
partner.
partner.
Partners.
Wow.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, I'm like,
That is
test
so
the
true,
spirits,
yeah.
my sister.
Test the spirit.
That is very
Hey,
true,
that's
yeah.
a interesting twist.
That is a very interesting twist.
For me, my whole take on compromise is like communication. You know that meme where the lady's doing all of the maths? I just can't do that. So even if I've seen something that I'm uncomfortable with or something has happened that's like, if we can talk about it, I'm good. If I have to phone you up and then phone you up, I've gone too far. Like, you know, so that for me is like the number one thing to look out for. Can we have difficult conversations? Yeah. Like,
I've got 2 things that I want to say on your very point. But the first one I'm going to say, and sorry to bring religion into it, Nasiphi, Tina, you guys are Seventh-day Adventists. And usually...
Hey, sister.
Maranatha.
yeah.
And from a young age, we are taught that do not be...
Unequally yoked.
Every church
basically.
teaches that.
Every church, yeah.
But with Seventh-day Adventists, it's like super strict, marry within the church. Is that something you're willing to compromise on, or he must be SDA and that's it?
Absolutely.
He has to be SDA.
The less SDA, the better. I'm willing to compromise. What I'm not willing to compromise, though, is Christianity.
And principles.
And principles. Like, honestly, like this 2-year ago relationship I speak of is someone that was in my life in the past, and he resurfaced, and I was like, okay, well, I'm doing nothing. Let's see if this will work around this time around.
Yeah.
And literally the one deal breaker is that previously he was Methodist, which I always say if I wasn't Seventh-day Adventist, I'd probably be Methodist because I really love, you know, the music. and everything.
Also the clap and tap.
I know.
Yes.
So he was Methodist, and I was like, I don't mind being, mame pike, as they call it. Doesn't this guy come back literally being on the whole underground gang? And like our conversations were about, talking about, tell me, this God of yours who came from, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I tried it for like a couple of months, and I was like, Sana, this is not going to work for me,
So that's one of the things you wouldn't compromise on.
And that's what it took for me to realize. I think before that I would have been like, whatever, but I was like, this is serious. Like, we pray, like we're about to eat, and I want to pray, and it's a problem. I can't pray before I eat. Like, what the hell, So that's 7 days. I am really willing to compromise, but Christianity, no.
Tinaje?
Ooh. I have done a lot of academic research on African spirituality and all of the roots and stuff. The way I want to answer this academically, right? And I've actually heard it from somebody who believes in these things. It's people under the cross and people under, I think it's called like people under the lamp or something like that, right?
Okay.
People under the...
Is this a group of...
It's a spiritual grouping,
Okay.
right? And somebody with spiritual eyes will be like, this one is under the cross. As in, this bloodline or this person's choice, this person is like Christian, right? And this one... right. And some people are both, right? Okay. There's a spiritual demarcation. Unfortunately, it's not only a teaching in the church. Even Nabo, they'll be like, so if they're busy twassering or whatever, or they're asking. I'm sure they say, they're asking. And then they'll be like, so let's say you went with your man. They'd be like, this one doesn't believe in what we're saying because she's not under the covenant that we're under.
Of the lamb.
And, and then it will be like, so it's not going to work, or she's going to have to do something to, or like that power of belief. And so, I mean, that's the only way I can answer it. I'm big on Christianity, but like the spiritual element of it is real. Like, so I don't even take it from an experiential, like from a romantic experience. It's from a knowing point of view. I don't know. I guess spirits have gates or whatever. I don't know. But it can work with this and it can't work with that. And yeah.
And you know what? I personally don't have anything against people who are, not believing in the cross and whatnot. But I think those type of things are so important for raising kids and running a household.
Yes.
So the values must align.
Yeah.
Whatever they are, but they just must align.
align. I agree.
You know what I
align,
mean?
yeah.
So
Whatever it is that we believe in, we
must all believe in
yes.
it. So we
I
can't
get
be in
you.
one roof and you have a room that has candles that no one can go into.
Yes.
Oh, no.
And you're having World War I when you're praying for food.
I know, right? This Jesus. This Jesus of yours. Oh, wow.
And then you'll ask which macaroni is not paid for.
Exactly. Can you just...
Okay, so who pays for dates? Must it be the man? Must it be the man? She spoke.
I will say
reason
one
why
thing,
I'm asking. Sorry, John.
Okay.
Reason why I'm asking is because she said she appreciates a relationship where you can talk openly about things. And I've noticed that this thing of paying for dates is such a contention between us single people. Like, who's going to pay for the date? The woman is expecting the man to pay, but the man is also like, why must I pay for everything? So who must pay?
It's professional daters that I know that have a thesis on this whole thing. Like, I haven't dated enough to have a thesis, but anyway,
Sometimes you just rock up and you actually don't know who's going to pay. Go for it.
I don't know how he's gonna cut it and bring it together. But the Christianity thing, right? I have a friend who, we used to go to the same church, believes in God. Her whole family is Christian. But now she met a guy who doesn't believe in God. He's not an atheist, but they call them something else.
Okay.
Agnostic,
something.
yeah.
So are they not in love? I'm just like, but okay, when you look at these two people, you wouldn't think, okay, they are unequally yoked. They just look like God just brought them together. Because even with my sister, she was like, I've never seen someone love someone so much. It just looks like God just brought them together. So I just wonder, but God, you said we mustn't be unequally yoked. So now,
but no, don't you don't you sometimes feel like, because I think it's for me it's heavily about character, and even going back to values. So I just watched the Barbie movie. Go out and watch the Barbie movie. Because it's actually more about like it's a movie about like identity and stuff, and they've switched. So the men have the typical female roles because the Barbies have the houses and the what, and the men are just. The Kens are like literally his name is and Ken. His name is and his surname is Ken. Like because it's Barbie and Ken.
Wow.
And there's this moment. Okay, spoiler. Can I go ahead and spoil?
Please.
Okay.
But maybe the viewers.
Yeah, sorry viewers, if you just skip. So there's and because I watched a review afterwards and somebody was like, there's a very Adam and Eve like tone to the whole thing because Ken and Bobby are in paradise and then they have to go to the real world. Okay, so when they're in the real world. Typically in the 90s, in movies like that, Ken and Bobby find out that the two people would find out how much they need each other. And the message in Bobby and Ken is that, no, Ken is enough and Bobby is enough. I get that message, but for me, psychologically, if I had kids, I wouldn't even want them to watch that because my values are like, it's man and woman and we both need each other, right? And that's it, like, for me, if I was dating a person who's not of the same faith as me, that's the sort of thing I'd be checking for. Like, how do you perceive our relationship? Like, are we one, or are we can just break this thing apart? You know, anytime, or like where we even going with this? You know, yeah. I'm big on life partnership. Like, yeah.
And I think you're right in that with values is that yes, maybe the best, like the easiest way of differentiating values is Christian, like religiously wise, but it can happen that people are not the same, religion, but they do have the same values because the person is just simply a good person. Because you get, bad people who are Christians.
Terrible.
So I guess that's how it could work.
Church boys, you're up.
You see, boy.
Especially those in the music groups. Cut that out.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all still haven't answered. Who is paying for the date?
Oh yes.
Okay, go for it, John. I really
I'm
need-
not paying.
That's for
Not
sure.
me. Someone's paying, but it's not me.
me.
Okay, so does that mean
Okay,
he would have called you and said, let's go on a date and he pays? What if you
Yes.
say, oh, let's go for a hike and there's an entrance fee?
I mean, I can pay for an entrance fee. Okay, let me be serious. No, I can, not for the first date. The first date, I would definitely not pay. But moving forward, I mean, if we're going to go bowling and then eat, I could be like, oh, let me just pay for bowling because it's in my nature to just be giving.
Okay.
So let me say we would both, but it's 70-30 in the giving. Let me also,
John's going to be calculating slips.
I paid for this. 30%. No, we're both giving, but the contribution is not the same.
So the
man
dude has to contribute more.
Yeah.
And that's despite the date. What if you find a nice restaurant and you want to go?
But I mean, if I find a nice, I don't mind just paying because I mean, I'm with him, so I don't mind paying. But I mustn't be paying all the time.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to 3 years, I'm like, hi, but I've been paying 80%. Then there's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying it should be.
It's not equal. It should always be about 70-30. Okay. But if I see like there's this, if it's his birthday,
You're paying.
I would pay for him.
Once a year.
It's your annual treat.
Okay, Nasiphi.
So I think that
50-50. I see it coming.
no, I know, not 50-50. So my thing is now, I think most times it should be him, and it's not because superficial or whatever, but like even if it means our date is a hike, which costs 100 rand, and because you only have 100 rand, but I rather pay. If you can't afford us to go to a restaurant where it's gonna cost 1,000, then it's okay. But for me, I don't know. There's just something about like a man should have that sense of providing, you must be a provider. Indoor must, guys. Honestly, I'm sorry, like indoor must. And indoor must doesn't mean we must live. I always say one of my prerequisites right now is that can you be self-sufficient?
Yes.
As a woman or
As a man,
as a man.
for my significant other, be self-sufficient. I don't care if you live in a 1-bedroom apartment. but afford yourself.
think
Then if
that's-
I come to your life, even if it means I sacrifice or compromise or tone down, but you should be able to afford me based on the fact that you are affording yourself. If you were eating like I'll eat the bread you were eating, you know, and also have that sense of you want to share with me what you have, regardless of what it is. So the thing about paying is not about show off and have like all the money and whatnot, but it's that sense of be willing to share what you have with me, you know.
And then
it's about sharing. Okay.
and then the other way around, how do you show that you're also generous and that you also sharing a piece of you with him?
And the reason I'm saying this is because I don't know if this can count as a compromise. Actually, is because naturally I will pay. Share.
Yeah.
And I feel like most ladies are like that. to be
ladies are
honest
like
with
that.
you.
So for me to even say it's fine, let's go for the cheap date, it's me compromising.
holding
Because I'm
back.
just saying, just show that you at least care for me, enough. If you have, I mean, it would suck if they had a lot and then they still just did the bare minimum. But for me, I feel like even if you don't have much, but share it, like have that sense of provision, man, about it.
I must say, so based on the conversation that we haven't aired, literally you as a married person, I think I was like, oh, that must be the other time when you asked it, I was like, so we have an episode that we haven't aired because we had some issues, just note to the viewers. And she brought it up and me and the other guy looked at her like blank, like, why would you ask somebody that? And I must say that must be a thing of a stable relationship, Cece, because clearly, it's not really something that is like outrightly discussed, right? And I'll try it sometime.
Have the conversation.
I will try
as in
have the conversation
from the very
sometime.
beginning. Like,
Yeah.
who's paying? How do we do this paying thing?
Well, if things are going forward, but I feel
But why are we having the conversation?
Because it's such a sore spot for everyone.
and I think
So it's because it shouldn't be assumed that the man
You
is going to pay.
shouldn't. Not in this day and age.
No, it shouldn't be. Sorry, I'm on the men's side
Side.
today. It
Really?
shouldn't be assumed that the man is
Wait,
always going
what?
to pay.
For the date?
can I interject there?
I also think it should,
Here's a
though.
situation that I know has happened, and that made me think this way of this. A guy friend was invited. Lady friend calls him up and says, "Oh, there's a new restaurant in Joburg. Let's go and visit." Okay. Guy says, "Okay, you're inviting me. You're asking me on a date, right? Okay,
It
let's
was marble.
go."
It was marble, wasn't it?
Marble or saint. So he says, "Okay, fine." They don't discuss anything, of course. They go to the restaurant. They eat. They have a good time. The bill comes. She passes it to him.
No, that's
Yeah, that's
different.
mean.
No,
That's-
that is mean.
That's
That is very
I think there must
But
be
it's
an
not,
etiquette
John,
to
because
it.
you said you expect him to pay 70%.
no, but
No, I guess then I also kind of expect him to not always initiate the dates, but like
Guys.
Okay, wait.
Maybe this is why I'm the married one.
No,
Because initiating the dates, guys, if we are seeing each other and we're both feeling each other and I want to spend time with you, I'm not going to keep quiet and be like, I
Until,
want to
like-
spend time with him,
But he must
let me wait for him to initiate. That's unfair.
okay, but you can't always be initiating, right?
yeah, I can't always
Okay,
be
so
initiating. It must be
Then
balanced.
it's, yeah, then it's fine.
So shows to the paying, shouldn't it?
So wait, so are you saying before you ask him, you have the conversation of, okay, I'm gonna pay this date? Is that what you do?
No,
what happens?
not bluntly like that, but if someone invites, or if you invite him for a date, you speak about it. So we're going to go to Saint. The menu is like this, like this, like this. It's a very expensive restaurant. What do you suggest we do? How are you financially?
I think
Mid-month.
that's the comms now.
It's
Yeah, then that's okay.
it's mid-month. Do you have the money? I really want to go.
Challenge accepted.
That's okay. But if
Yeah,
he's
I think
inviting you on a date, why are you guys having the discussion?
Yeah, if he's inviting,
well, that's different.
Exactly, and if she's inviting, like with this,
so you guys are saying only when the lady is
Lady-
initiating should we have
but
the
it would still
conversation.
be nice.
I'm such
it
an
would still be
initiator.
nice if he paid. It would be nice. I won't
But
lie.
if it's a very expensive, you know your man's budget also.
Not all the
unless you don't.
But
Yeah.
if it's new,
Okay, I would know.
90 days.
As if it's new, I
90
think
days,
he
you
should
know your
pay.
man's
I'm
budget.
sorry.
So-
90 days. 90 days.
said 90 days.
90 days.
Even
fine.
if you
Only-
initiated
I want
it.
to counter. I want to counter. Okay, so this is like in my 20s, this wasn't a thing. We were all broke.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
In our 20s, it wasn't a thing.
Exactly. It was a
But
50-50.
I must say, now in our 30s, especially, you hear for men, they seem to find more value in being able to be a provider.
Exactly.
Right. But I do then feel bad for like single men. Because if you on Bumble and you're going on date after date,
Yes.
you're literally gonna go broke.
Yes.
And
that's the direction I'm coming at this from.
you're gonna go
that.
broke. And I have known girls who are like, Mina, from the 15th to the 30th, I'm dating for supper.
You see,
No,
this is why this
Please open.
conversation
Please
is
open.
important.
I'm dating. I'm going on Tinder. I'm going on dates for supper, right? And like Njani Sisi, and you know my biggest thing, and it must have a lot to do with how I was raised. Hey, you know, I've never expected a man to give me money, right?
Same.
But I can see that it means a lot more to men to be able to give. So
It does.
I'll be sitting there feeling like, so Mina, what am I bringing to this whole equation? Because I'm not cooking for you in those. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna. So all I do is come and eat. It's very confusing for me. All I do is you're paying for everything.
And that confusion is very dangerous because you feel you're not bringing anything to the table. If this man then says,
Table this.
yes,
Sisi.
table this, and then you're going to feel like, okay, but
I have to because
Yeah.
it's your table.
So that's what really worries me. And again, I don't have enough like dating experience, and I also feel it just like really worries me. So what do you bring to the table? And you back to this thing of settling. A lot of girls that are dating, then they get into these settled situations, these terrible situations, and you can tell Usisi is staying because she's paid for. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
guys.
this is not even a hand who needs money. You don't even need the money, but you are in
you
this.
bring up something very interesting, Tina, and I'd like to ask the question. What do you bring to the table?
Everything, honey.
Can I
I have a lot to offer.
I like that answer.
I look forward to
Exactly.
offering. I have a lot to offer.
I like that answer.
Can I say something before I lose my train of thought? On what you're saying, it's so amazing how one situation can be looked at in different perspectives, because I am the direct opposite.
Okay.
Firstly, I also have a lot to offer, and I know that, point blank. But because I have so much to offer, I always feel like you have, like, I would ideally want someone who offers more than I have to offer.
That's fair.
You know?
Or at least the same amount.
At
It
least
has
the-
to be.
you know,
Okay.
but ideally, more. And with what you're saying, I would love to just rock up to a table that's already, because I mean, I'm a single woman, I'm a single mother, I'm in my 30s, I am quite self-sufficient, so the table is mine to build and to set.
Oh, so you want the table, as in your foundations.
I would love a table that's set.
Yeah,
I would
I
love
get
to
you.
just
All of us.
get
Yes.
there and
But
I would love to have that sense of what should I do? Like,
But that-
because everything is there already.
I feel like yeah, but
You
like
know?
in dating, how do you get in marriage? Okay, yeah, you bring the table, I bring the food, right? Or whatever. But in dating,
Yeah, it's
So what I'm saying is this, like what you deem sort of like a way where you feel like insignificant, or what's your purpose or whatnot, is something that for me would, I don't know, maybe when I get it, I wouldn't feel this way, but because I'm yearning so much for it, I would honestly love a man who will say, actually, I'll come fetch you and take you to work
I'd
and
love
bring you
that.
back. And you know what I mean? Like, no, sell your house, fool. I'll buy you a house.
in dating
I
phase, you
love
want a
that.
house.
No,
Oh,
Kalok,
in
obviously.
marriage,
But what I
okay.
mean is that level of provision. Dreams.
I must a big love language for me. Drive me around, yo. Thank you.
But my point is that you are feeling as if it's, you feel so insignificant at the point where if this person is doing everything for you. But for me, I'd love that. Honestly, I'd love that. And I think a part of it comes from, it comes from my own upbringing, where I've had a father who was there all along.
Yes.
However, plot twist, he's not the most, like, especially Xhosa men, I have a thing with Xhosa men, right? He's a, what you call it, absent present dad. Like, he's there, but he's not there.
yeah.
So I've watched my mom struggle,
With things that
he should be taken care of. And for me, it's such a thing. Like, it's a deal breaker. It might be a trauma point too, but it's a deal breaker. Like
Can you give an example though? Like
things, man. Like, I remember moving from primary school to high school, and literally the letter that says that I've been, like, you normally need to have like a referral letter from your old school, whatever. At the end of the note, there was a big writing, school fees outstanding and whatnot. And the thing is, my dad's always earned more than my mom, by the way. But he's just never been like that person who will, do the things that he should be doing. And like my mom had to like trim that letter out, remove that part that says owing, just so that it looks like it's, everything is fine. And I was like, and I think I was now obviously getting into high school. So now I'm starting to get and understood, but wow, this thing has been going on. Like my mom, with the little that she makes, provides more than this person who makes so much more. So for me, from that early age, I was like, please provide for me.
Hey, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm understanding here is that like how we feel towards a significant other and how they should provide for us and how we should provide is based on sometimes, most of the time, our childhood and how we've been brought up.
I think it's so important, but then like interesting things, eh? My dad does not drive me around. Like and now like I've had to step into being like, okay, that's how you grew up. What do you want? Okay, that's what dad was doing. That's what dad does for mom. But what do you want? Like I wasn't raised to like a man driving me around, And I think that's the beautiful thing. It's like you get to have those traumas and you get to heal them, Yeah.
In different ways, because other people, because of having either no dad or a dad like, and shame, my dad is a good dad, shame. It goes back to this thing of good dad, bad partner. So some people will be so self-sufficient because they're like, I don't ever want to rely on a man, but for other people, they will yearn for provision because of maybe, wanting to do the...
But so...
Go ahead.
Like I must say, like I think that definitely shapes it for me. Is like me and my dad chat, and even if we're fighting, we're like, I don't like how you said whatever. And I think that really like also has shaped my dating life, because my dad is a very staunch, like a very African guy, but like for me, he's like, okay, Tina, let's talk about it. I really require you to talk about it because the old man talks to me, Yeah.
I was just gonna say, if we to speak about childhood, for me, my dad passed away when I was very young. So all my life, I've seen my mom stepping up and doing everything that needs to be done and doing it absolutely brilliantly. So for me, as a woman, I should be able to do it.
At the very least.
At the very least, I should be able to be sufficient on my own. That doesn't mean I don't allow my husband to do what he needs to do. I will allow him to pay for whatever he needs to pay for, but best believe if you're taking long to take the 200 Rand out of your pocket,
I will wait a little bit longer. Are you serious? I'm sure it will come out of your pockets.
But you get what I'm saying for me.
Where is the 200? Take it out.
Hurry.
I think
what's wrong with you?
what you're saying, Shumi, so I can understand where you're coming from now, why you feel like, no, I don't need a man, because you saw your mom do it. Whereas with me, I saw my dad being the provider, the main provider. So I'm like, no, hold on. But then I also want somebody like that, because that's how I grew up knowing, okay, this is what love looks like.
But no,
and
I didn't say I don't need a man.
Let me not say I don't need.
As
you
a
are
person,
self-sufficient.
I must be self-sufficient, even within my marriage. If anything is to happen to my husband, standard of life must not decrease.
That's a heavy one for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Standard of life must not decrease. Now, my husband has left me, because men will leave you.
One thing about men.
Exactly. If he walks out the door, let him walk out with what he has, and I remain like this.
Yeah.
I think that's all of us, right? But that's all of us. But more, you are more of, I'm okay with 50-50, where we like, you're 50-50. That's what I'm trying to say.
I wouldn't say that I'm also
but not
okay
that
with
if I'm not okay
50-50.
with, if I'm okay with just 30%, doesn't mean that if he leaves tomorrow, I'm like, yo, wait, I still have a lot of money with me. I just prefer to have it 70-30.
So let me say it correctly. I'm not okay with 50-50. What I'm saying is that me, on my own,
No matter what.
I must have my things. If he wants to pay great, I love it. Do it.
Okay,
Gucci,
fine.
he's not paying because you can't.
Or because I want him to.
He's
He's paying
voluntary.
because he wants to pay,
because
and
he
he's
wants
got it. You
Those
know?
are the men we want.
Yes, and I think when you also show yourself as a woman that, you know what, like, whether you pay or you don't pay, a man was going to step up and be like, hey, this woman is she, let me do the best, let me do the most. I don't want to get into an actual story because I don't want to expose people.
Come on.
But
The viewers want to hear it.
you know, Juicy, DM me on Instagram. But that's what I have noticed when with men, that when I come with knowing that I've got what I've got and you want me, you better step up.
I'm heavy on the power couple thing. I'm very,
Me too.
I'm heavy on the
Oh,
power
me
couple
too.
thing.
Yes.
And so I'm not trying to be 50-50.
Yeah, no.
100.
And
Power
because
couple
it's not even a 50-50 thing. We both have something to bring to this,
Absolutely.
and we're going like
Absolutely.
we're going.
Exactly.
No, that's
Yeah.
a
I'm
solid
with
one.
you on that
Yeah.
too.
And I don't expect you to be 120. I expect you to be 100 and me
I'm
100.
100. Yeah.
That's it.
Bring.
I think
bring
you've
your
said
best.
it nicely. You've said it nicely.
there's-
Bring 100.
Because there's this, for me it's not about the money thing. There's this, it's not a meme, it's a sound clip that goes around. Put a finger down if your parents I can see how much my dad, how much my mom, so it's them collectively, then it's what mom has done and the things that mommy just doesn't want for me, you know, and she worked so hard to be like, Tinashe will never, you know. And it's just making sure that we're not, when they say put a finger down, you know, like there's like put a finger down if you came from such and such a background. All I want, if I could, because if that's your scenario, you put a finger down, right? I just need to make sure that my kid can also put a finger down for the things I could put a finger down for. And I need them, if it's steps, they need to be at least 3 steps ahead of where I was going to go. My mom walked so I could run, and I ran so my kids could fly. Yeah. And that's what picking a partner is about for me. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Above and beyond the finances, you pick a
Yeah.
person for a better future, a better life.
We're getting better and better and better generationally. Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
a
Thank
good
you,
way to
Tina.
put it.
Yeah. I agree. There's nothing wrong with a man paying for everything as long as he's not paying a tariff for bad behavior.
And as long as it's out of his will.
Yes.
And he's not kind of being subtly forced to.
Yeah, you
like,
don't pay, I'm
okay,
out.
okay, I'll just pay.
And I want to say, just because you don't know the person or your circle, you don't know the people in your circle, doesn't mean they're not out there. There are a lot of men who want to provide and have no problem and still are very great men.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
They're
true.
there. They're there. I agree. But exactly.
Please comment if you're that guy.
Don't say it louder.
Where are they?
So what I wanted to say is that the years that I was single were like the best years of my life.
Is it?
Yes. I'm married and it's great, but those single years were the absolute best. And we've spoken about all the funny stuff about being single, but I mean, there must be some joy in it, and that's what I want to ask. What's the good
joy.
side about being single? The nice side.
You know what I want to say? You got married before 30, ne?
Late 20s, yes.
Late 20s. But I think once you go over 30, it's like, okay, now,
The joy.
now we are tired. So I can understand why you would have enjoyed because you were not 30 yet. Now it's like, I'm at when is he coming? So there's joys, but it's more annoying than joyful
Is it?
at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
What annoys you?
Oh, what annoys me about being single?
Yeah.
What annoys me about being single is being responsible for everything.
That's the thing.
Yo.
Like I just recently relocated, right? And from deciding where I'm gonna live, to deciding what school my kid's gonna go to like buying a piece of furniture in the house, like everything is on me, guys. I just I need to bounce it off someone at least.
Yes. That's
You know? So that's the one thing that's really annoying about being single. It's just not having a soundboard, someone to make decisions with. And I mean, I've got siblings, I've got friends, I've got people, but they've got their own lives. They've got their own, decisions to make. So that is very annoying.
Somebody who knows the intricacies of what this decision would mean.
entails, the implications of it. But the one thing that I do still enjoy about being single, though, is, I guess, not answering to anyone, that accountability, because obviously comes with that. And I was actually having a conversation with my mom the other day, and I was saying that as much as I really am ready and I would like, to settle down and everything, but I think because I'm so used to making my own decisions and everything, I do kind of fear that, will I actually be able to submit? Will I actually be able? You see, I'm this person who I do everything for myself. I want to do nothing and have someone do everything for me. But when it actually happens, will I actually be able to say, okay, yebo baba? Because that's what it takes, right? When you want them to do everything, then you have to say yebo baba. I feel like I want it, but when I get it, will I be able to submit and be,
With the right man.
because I'm so used, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to like doing, and I think that's one of my challenges actually in dating, and I've realized this, that it can be like a thing with men, is that I still feel like I can, and it's my personality as well. I have that element of, I would like to have like, no, but this is the way it should be done. You know what I mean? And obviously that's not right, with men and whatnot. Like I always feel like, no. Because they always say submitting is about, if your man says let's walk into that wall. Is it not?
But I'm
saying, but why I'm walking into the wall?
I love the comfort of, okay, if you said we walked into the wall, you're going to deal with whatever happens when we walk into the wall. Okay,
Right.
cool. Okay, wall we go.
I'm definitely not that person.
I'm
I
not
would be
that
like, but
person.
why are we walking into the
Why?
wall?
Walk into a wall. I think so.
My
I'm
poor
also
husband.
worried.
Really. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answer, but what I want to counter you with, when you were single, did you feel like it was the best days of your life? Or retrospectively?
Yeah, you see.
Retrospectively. And even when I look at you guys, all of you,
We look like we're having fun.
guys, Nasiphi, when she leaves work, she's not running to fetch Liz or to cook for anyone. Like, I always have this conversation with Tina, and I'm like, Tina, what are you doing now? While I'm at home looking after my kids. And she's like, oh, I'm going for a sleepover. I'm like, yo, so nice.
I have a story to tell you. The other day I took a walk after work. First of all, it was dark, but I said, homie, gotta walk. It was dark. It's like 6 o'clock. And then I walk past a young gentleman in the street. So I'm like, hey, what's up? You greet, they always say greet your attacker so that later you can identify their face. So I say, he's like, Tina. Then I was like, why is someone walking in my street that knows my name? Then he's like, no, I'm going to cell group. But there's a new cell group I joined, and it's the one girl lives just by me. He's like, yeah, I'm going to that girl's place. I left my house at 6. I came back at 10:30. Okay, I went to cell. I walked there. I was talking to him. Then he's like, okay, let's go to cell. He's a young man, so he's not. It's not a date thing. It's not a romantic thing. Then he's like, cell is in 4 ways. Here's whoever to pick us up. Got in the car.
No thinking.
In my dusty jogging clothes. I don't think I'd even bathed. Got in the car, and then I saw that cell group push to 10:30. And then the person who gave us a ride was like, I'm going to the airport now. I just called an Uber, opened my gate, and went inside. I hated it. I was like, Ubaba should have been calling me to be like, what are we eating?
So those stories, I'm always just like, yo, I wish. We had a work event just the other day, and from 6, I'm looking at the time, and I'm looking at my, is anybody gonna ask me questions? So my mom looks after the one baby. She starts calling, where are you? Then the side, my husband is like, should I order? I'm just like, can I just be? So
But all of us are like, you know what? When we had the play date on Saturday, last week Saturday, because it was kids, like how many kids were there? 3, 4, 5? 4 kids. Can I tell you, once I dropped those kids off, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have kids. I actually thought about, and I never thought I would think that. I'm like, this is such a blessing. I get to go home and just be at peace.
Yeah, yes.
And
you
not
don't have to put
someone
nobody
saying,
to
"Mommy,
bed.
you know?" So there are joys when I can be by myself. I can just go take a flight somewhere by myself,
At any time. You don't
But
have to.
being with someone is always better than
always
being
better.
single.
Absolutely.
Let's not lie to us.
2 is better than 1 and a quarter of
2
3
is always
is
better
not
than
even
1.
broken. happen.
Yeah, I guess ultimately you're right, and we're built that way. We're built for companionship.
Exactly.
So
Ken needs Bobby and Bobby needs Ken.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes. So the companionship is important, and really, guys, I wish you the absolute best. You guys are such amazing women, and guys, if you're watching this, DM me for their numbers.
Are we done already? Watch out for part 2. There's so much to discuss.
There really is. Like I was saying, thank you so much, ladies. You are very, very beautiful, talented women, and I really, really hope you all find exactly what you're looking for. It is out there. 70-30 is there. A man who's going to look
100.
after everything. Everything. 100 is there. He's there. And Tidashe, you didn't really say what
My
you're
life
about.
partner, homie. My life partner.
But he's there, and I'm very, very confident you'll all find it. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for watching. This is 30, the singlehood episode. Cue in all my single ladies. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want any of their numbers, DM me. Thank you.